UFOs and extraterrestrials, envoys of the devil, the dark force, belief behind them is half-truths. There are many people who, for different reasons, are convinced that UFOs and their passengers are sent by Satan himself to Earth with evil intentions, but it's not a newly invented idea, but from the beginning, back in the 50s, alongside the extraterrestrial hypothesis, the belief that the devil or dark forces, demonic entities from the underworld, were being behind the flying saucers, and especially among devout Christians of all disciplines that saw nothing else behind the mysterious and sometimes terrifying subjects of UFOs. For example, the Adventist magazine, Review and Herald, from the year 1961, published several reports devoted to the subject of flying saucers, but giving them a religious focus. Its editor, Francis David Nichol, bluntly wrote, "Some who read the UFO stories have raised several questions. Could not some of these UFOs be manifestations of Satan's power? Is it beyond the realm of possibility that he, Satan, could send something with bright lights? Obviously, the answer to such a question is that it is not beyond the realm of possibility that Satan can do many things, including sending something with bright lights. But that does not prove anything about UFOs. There are always two dangers that rationalists must guard against. One is the danger of being skeptical of the great miracles, whether of God or of the devil, which are important signs. The second, the danger of falling into certain beliefs to the extent that Satan can do great things and will try to deceive people on earth in the end times. So anything that happens that is not immediately explained is probably one of the tricks of the devil. In fact, in the 1970s, researchers such as John Weldon, Zola Levitt, and Dr. Clifford Wilson published several books about warning that UFOs are manifestations of demonic activity, and that the increasing number of UFOs seen in our skies were the result of Satan's evil forces gathering to fight on behalf of the Antichrist. It's curious to note at this point that 3 former presidents of Bufora, the most important UFO research group in Great Britain, included its founding president, Graham Newstub, Captain Ivar Mackey, and Roger Stanway, were convinced that UFOs were of demonic origin. Creighton, in the article entitled "The True Nature of UFOs Entities," 1988, stated that a study of all the world's major religions, and Islam in particular, would provide valuable clues to the true nature of the so-called UFO phenomenon, and quickly dispel much of the silly space-age mythology that has been spawned in such abundance over the past 3 decades. The British scholar thought that there were analogies between the demons of Islam, the jinn, and the occupants of flying saucers. In the normal state, they are not visible to ordinary people. They are, however, capable of materializing and appearing in the physical world, and they can alternate between become invisible or invisible at will. They can change shape and appear in any kind of appearance, large or small. They are deceitful liars who enjoy deceiving humanity with all kinds of nonsense. They are addicted to kidnapping people. They delight in luring humans into close relations with them, and Arabic literature abounds with accounts of this kind of human contact. The jinns often grab people and teleport them back, if they actually put them back on the ground, miles away from where they were taken, all in the blink of an eye. Let's remember that after Christ's baptism, when he had 40 days of fasting in the desert, the devil took him and placed him on a high place on the temple. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. That's in the New Testament. Now, going back to this, Arabic tradition holds that throughout history, there have been some particular human beings who, through some strange favor, quote, were in union with the jinns or had an agreement with the jinns to such an extent that they're jinns, they are endowed with what we consider supernatural powers, end quote. Hence, psychic powers, coupled with all these displays of prowess on the part of the jinns, it follows that they possess immense telepathic power. Pastor Irvin de Leon, of the Houston Evangelical Christian Center, wrote an article titled "The Truth Behind UFOs," where he stated that, as is evident biblically and even scientifically, it's proven that the UFO phenomenon and aliens are nothing but demons. The Bible teaches us that Satan is called the prince of the power of the air, and that in space and being on earth, he rules the principalities, powers, and rulers of darkness. One of Satan's methods has always been to cause confusion, to mislead people and gain followers. And the doctor himself, Whitley Strieber, describes, "I felt a sensation as if I were in hell, even though I was on earth. I couldn't move, I couldn't scream, I couldn't run. Above me was this monstrous, ugly, dark, and hideous thing, demons for sure. I remembered his awful hands." Finally, Pastor Irvin comes to the following conclusion in his writing. Ufologist Anthony Bragalia, in the article titled "Religious Fanatics in Government Have Convinced Them They're All Demonic and Are Sabotaging official UFO Studies." This was in January 2020. And he noted that a startling new analysis reveals that deep within the defense agencies and U.S. intelligence is inhabited by a shadowy group that exerts great influence on religious zealots and actively undermines UFO studies and their associated program managers. All these dogmaticists in key position are convinced that such things are demonic. Unbelievable, these extremist evangelicals are convinced that aliens, regardless of race, are satanic demons, and that those who investigate them are playing with fire. But what's more surprising, according to Bragalia, is that these same beliefs are also widespread in other governments. From Islam to the Semitic tribes to the dogmatic Christians, the same thing. The bad are in the underworld, and it's bad to have psychic powers and not just to be biped, as Plato also said. These things against Islam and Christianity that they present are of Satan. Good is bad and bad is good. Together with stuck-up Christians, he saw a stuck-up Christian who also writes books in the various countries and has gathered hordes of dogmaticists on their page against the system. It's therefore not surprising that dogmatic Christians avoid talking about these extraterrestrials in human form, who are essentially the ancient gods. Well, the ancient Greeks always thought that the gods of Olympus were extraterrestrials anyway. These ancient gods, and were different from mortals in everything, and have nothing to do with extraterrestrials that you can really call them as demons with a bad concept, and it's of non-human shape and reptilian type. And they present them as Satanists, like those who were in contact with, for example, the goddess of the devil, Maria Orsic, and the Satanist Elena Blavatsky, while she was talking about what the ancient mystics also said in their newer edition, etc., as if they say that Plato was a Satanist. In simple terms, stuck Christians present the wrong side of demonic entities. In the case of Islam, they mean what they say because it's a 100% copy of the Jewish religion. And the Satanists are the opposite of them in their creator, hence the opposite of evil, which they have also experienced in Christianity. And it seems the true emissaries of Satan and the seeds of the evil tell the dogmatic people in key positions that all this with UFO is Satan's, so that they do not want to, they do what the hierarchy of Christianity tells them to do. And this I've translated from a Greek article. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.